Yo, welcome back to another video. We're gonna do this video, probably take a break for a while. I might get on my phone, do some gaming, I don't know. Anyways, this is a video by Antonio Redgrave. If you know him, let me know in the comments. Say, I know that guy, something like that. But let's go.
With the release of Daredevil Born Again on Disney+, now is the perfect opportunity to talk about all of the live-action Daredevil suits and rank them from worst to best. Daredevil is one of my favorite superheroes, and his series is still to this day one of my favorite shows on television. So naturally, I have a lot of thoughts on Daredevil's various looks throughout his show, as well as other live-action interpretations of the character. So without further ado, let's get the video started. First, I'm gonna give a brief honorable mention to the unseen suits from Daredevil Born Again. From this shot in both the trailers and the show, it appears that two of the suits we haven't seen yet are a silver or white suit and a black suit. It's safe to assume that the design of these outfits would be similar, if not nearly identical in design, to either his Netflix suit or his Born Again suit, since that's a pattern we'll see throughout this video. But since we haven't actually seen these suits yet, I unfortunately can't consider them for this list. Hopefully we'll get to see these suits as the show progresses, and I'll likely do an updated suit ranking when that happens. Starting the list at number 11, I have the 1975 Daredevil suit. This suit is from a cancelled Daredevil and Black Widow TV series from the mid-70s, with actor and writer Benny Carthers donning the role of Matt Murdock, and was the first attempt at a live-action Daredevil costume. Obviously nothing came from it, but there was a single photo shoot done with these two characters in costume, and it looks terrible. From the two pictures we have of this suit, it appears that Matt had a cheap spandex suit with tight shorts, exposed hands, and a hood with ridiculous pointy looking devil horns. They also applied face paint over the areas that the hood couldn't cover in order to sell the illusion that he's wearing a full mask, which looks really creepy and not in a scary kind of way. Thank God this project never progressed past the photo shoots, because I don't think I can see my boy Matthew get dragged through the mud like this. The worst live action Daredevil suit, without question. At number 10, I have the Daredevil suit from the Trial of the Incredible Hulk. This was the second attempt at making a live-action Daredevil suit, but the first one to actually make an on-screen appearance, and it's actually not that bad for what it is. An all-black suit similar to how Frank Miller's suit would look just a few years later. While on the surface, it looks similar to how the Netflix series made Matt's first costume, but there's a very noticeable difference in this one. The whole outfit is made of spandex. This unfortunately makes the suit a little dated in my opinion, as the material doesn't look as great when compared to the other suits on this list. It's not a completely flat suit, as there are some stitches throughout it, and he even wears boots that double as baton holders. I'm also personally not a fan of how the suit pulls up over his head, but he has to wear a separate bandana to hide his eyes. And I'd just like to say that even though this is near the bottom of the list, this isn't a bad suit. It's really hard to mess up the blind ninja thing, and especially since this was the first legitimate crack at the suit, I think they did a pretty good job with it. At number 9, I have the scarf suit. I'm mainly referring to when Matt wears Jessica Jones' scarf in episode 3 of The Defenders, but I'll also include the other instances where he's wearing his civilian clothes, but has a face covering on his head. There's something so badass about Matt doing his Daredevil thing while just wearing regular clothes. He doesn't need the Daredevil suit to do what he does. It just adds extra protection, and it's really clever that Matt can take something simple like a scarf and use that to hide his identity. Unfortunately though, he is just fighting in a normal suit with a scarf on his head. So as much as I love this design for Matt, I can't justify putting it any higher on the list. At number 8, I have Matt's first Daredevil suit. This is the original Daredevil suit that Matt gets at the very end of season 1, and wears up until episode 4 of season 2. Instead of getting a spandex outfit like in the comics, Matt's suit used a Kevlar material with a patterned look that cut up the red and black attachments and padding. It also has some silver buckles and screws to hold the armor pieces together, and I actually really like this small detail. I don't mind this particular shade of red, but I do wish there was more of it. But this is something that future upgrades of the suit would improve upon. Even though the suit as a whole is fairly decent, I'm sure no one is surprised that this particular version is so low on the list. And that's exclusively because the cowl sucks. The black on the forehead doesn't look great. It's almost as if they're trying to mesh it with the black ski mask underneath, but it unfortunately doesn't work. The horns are okay, but worst of all, it doesn't fit right on Charlie's head. And with the narrow eyes looking like he's constantly squinting, the whole thing just looks off. I also find it ironic that most people, and myself included, find this suit to be a good starting point that just needed some improvement, when in the show it's stated that this suit was incomplete and not properly refined when it was made. And we'll talk more about those improvements later on the list. At number 7, I have the Ben Affleck Daredevil suit. This is the suit worn in the 2003 Daredevil film, starring Ben Affleck as Matt Murdock. It's a fully red leather suit fitted with a collar and a horned mask, and is currently the only suit to have the Daredevil logo on the chest, even though it's smaller and on